Hello there, and welcome again to another edition of Artist of the Week. This week we have an artist and animator, and her name is Buttercup Saiyan. How are you doing tonight, BCS?
I'm doing okay. I'm better off than I was earlier.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess that's a good thing. She has been kind enough to agree to answer some questions with us today. So, without further ado, let's begin. My first question I have for you is, how long have you been creating art?
I think most people draw as a kid, and I didn't really start getting serious about it until I was about 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the first things I drew were like Sonic and dolphins, and I would also draw characters from the Sierra King's Quest games.
From which games?
Sierra King's Quest, they were like oldest style adventure games in the 90s.
Oh, okay. How did you learn how to create art? What kind of education have you received?
It wasn't until college that I really started getting traditional training in like drawing and composition type classes.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I had the Artist's Complete Guide to Figure Drawing, which had a lot of classical musculature and figure studies, and that was really what gave me the base for like humans and things. And then everything else was just experimenting and copying styles and copying pictures until I felt secure enough to branch out on my own.
All right, cool. When did you become interested in animation specifically?
It was definitely seeing a fan animator named Nevermore X, and he did Powerpuff Girls, and at the same time we were all on IRC, and they would release the episodes every week, and there was a similar vibe to the same My Little Pony episodes being released, and I would go through the animation, I would attempt to copy it because I had a new copy of Flash.
Okay. I guess that explains how you learned how to do it. What steps do you go through when you create an animation?
That depends on what kind of style. There's the traditional approach, like on paper, and I've done scans of that before and then lined them up in Flash.
Yeah.
There's also bone systems in the old program was called Moho, and now it's like Anime Studio.
Oh.
But there's also like, my favorite one is just generally frame by frame, where you start with really rough sketches, and you get down the timing, and then you onion skin it to make it smoother, and then after that comes the usual inking, coloring, and shading process.
Where do you draw your inspirations from for your animations?
Oh, definitely from, like, when I started out, it was all about Teen Titans and Powerpuff Girls. So it was actually Western tunes. I tried to copy anime, and for some reason it just didn't really do much for me.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. You worked on a visual novel before. What was it like to work on something like that?
Well, I've actually worked on several. I think the original one was with someone called Mikey, part of ATV Projects, and it was Ori Ochianoe, and I probably don't have that in the right order, and I did the sprites and CG for that, and writing. There was also that Cheap and Sacred Thing, and I helped with the backgrounds and a little bit with the character poses, providing like references for the poses themselves. And other projects were a bit more demanding. We kickstarted something called Blow Stage, and that one's still up in the air, but I went to concept artists instead of full-blown CG. I basically just provide the ideas and sketches right now. I'm just informally on the team.
How did you come to work with them?
Previously I was on the Limasaw forums, and I had provided free art assets for just free games in general or commercial.
Yeah.
And I was also working on a game called Some Parts at the time, and I met Cinderella Lightning, and struck up a friendship, and there was no other artists fighting for the art at that point. And we went through like 3 or 4 revisions with the art for the characters and things, and it got stressful. Especially when more people were added to the dev team, it started to pull in a lot of different directions. But anyway.
Wow. What would you recommend to artists and animators who would like to kind of work in that field?
I would just recommend people to just jump in, take a risk, and get started, whether it's independent or your own project. And the guy who made Spelunky offered some really good advice, which was starting small, but not being afraid to try. You won't regret the attempts, you know? You might look at your old projects and be like, oh, I'm embarrassed about that. But each one was like a learning experience, stepping stone. And I really like to emphasize that the Ren'Py community in particular for Western visual novels are just extremely helpful and supportive. And the Lamasoft forums are really lively.
All right. Speaking of kind of jumping into things, what is Ludum Dare?
That was an ongoing competition that kind of spread. I think last time it really exploded into being known and popular when Notch joined. But I don't think he placed highly, but he wasn't actually winner of that competition.
Yeah.
And it's a game to make. I mean, it's a competition to make a game in 42 hours in one weekend, and it can be any medium as long as it's interactive almost. But all coding must be done in that time limit, and including content like art, sound, music, and writing. And that's because they want to encourage people to make releases and not depend on others. There's also a light version. I think it's one of the mini Ludum Dares, the mini comp, and that one has more relaxed rules. It allows collaborations and things.
Yeah.
It was something I started to just hone my skills at peak efficiency and see if I could do it. The last one I didn't quite make it in time because I got distracted, but it's always fun to try.
How many years have you participated in that?
I've only participated in the last two, which was December 2011 with Nepenthe, which was a visual novel, and the other one was a pony visual novel. I forget what it's called, but it had Celestia and Luna, and I was experimenting with painting inside, and that was not quite done, but it didn't need much to get finished, and that's something that I wanted to spend a weekend finishing up sometime.
What have you kind of taken away from participating in that?
Boy, it's tough. The completion rate is miserable, but it's fun to try. And the IRC for Ludum Dare is just crazy, and the server seems to go down every time. And everyone panics. They're like, oh no, how will we submit our games? Yeah.
Well, that's very interesting. How did you when did you start working on pony art?
I actually started from, I grew up with the My Little Ponies like most girls of my generation, and I wasn't too into Barbies, but I was totally into My Little Pony, including the TV show and the movies and everything, and I would draw like art based on that and make my own pony character, and I still remember the Yahoo groups with the role-playing, and everyone had like an original character, and I'm sure that's still going on now. But for the new series, I had heard about it due to Lauren Faust and the Powerpuff Girls connection, so I was already watching out for it before the first premiere episode aired, and basically my little sister was right there and we watched it on YouTube, and she figured out when the new episodes would come out, and on that day she would ask about like where it was, and I'd have to go find it. We would watch it religiously through season one.
How have they changed the way you think as an artist, or have they?
Not really. It's pretty comfortable for me. It just feels like Powerpuff Girls all over again.
Yeah.
But there's a certain energy in the community, I think, that is really appealing. And the original series as well.
Oh, okay. How have they affected your life in general, being a pony
Taking
artist?
over my life. I feel like some days are just, have a bad day. Some days I'm just like, ponies. So I don't know, they're kind of becoming a discussion bit, I guess.
No, that's good. That's good. What else do you do besides art for like your hobbies or?
I don't do much besides art. It's kind of taken over my life there.
Well,
anyway, yeah.
Well, that's okay. I know you do music as well. What do you enjoy about creating music?
It's just learning a new medium, and I'm not very comfortable with it yet. I have a copy of Ableton Live. It confounds me, but I like the challenge of it. It's something new, and I haven't had something new for a while.
Okay. How does expanding your horizons, like getting into new stuff, how does that help you as an artist?
I think it helps me with everything. Mostly I got into music because with game development, that was the one thing missing out on, and I wanted to just make some ambient loops to fill the atmosphere.
Okay. Neat. Do you have any future projects that you're excited for?
Yeah, I'd really like at some point in the future to assemble a team for original animation, like for film festivals. But this time it's just a matter of finding like people, funds, and the time for it.
Okay. What was your favorite project that you've ever worked on?
Probably my own, which were based on like stories I've written, but they're both incomplete. One was Controlled Chaos that started out as Second Origins, and I had actually been working on that one for about since I was 14, and it just kind of kept on going. It turned to a visual novel, but I wasn't ready for the all the positions necessary to do a full game with that kind of ambitious game.
Yeah. What are you working on currently, or can you tell?
Mostly commission stuff and a flash with Twilight and Spike, which I won't cover.
Oh no, that's okay. We those who know. So, what advice would you give new artists?
Practice and don't give up, and search out like there are certain places to go. Oikaki boards used to be, and probably still are, good hubs for seeing how people draw by recordings besides live streams. And they would have communities with comments and stuff, and I think that's how a lot of people got started. And don't be afraid to approach your friends and things for opinions, because even people who don't do art can offer really good feedback. And I think mostly just not giving up. Even if you only practice a little or a lot, it comes down to just like persevering.
And what are some steps that you would advise for those trying to make a career, or at least make a living in art?
I'm not sure I'd want to make a living in art, but I think I would use the common advice for new writers, which is don't quit your day job. I think that still applies. And from what I've heard, it's really tough to get into. You have to like know the right people, and you have to be ready to take some hits and lose potential jobs, because you're competing in a really kind of an oversaturated field, and there's always someone better at you, but you just have to be ready to take on the task. And it's work more so than just drawing for fun.
All right, excellent.
And there's like colleges and art universities, and there's two ways to look at that. They can offer some really useful training and contacts, and some of them are also a money sink. So sometimes when you invest in something like that, you're investing in both self-improvement and opportunities, but it's by no means guaranteed.
All right, good advice. I think that should be all of the questions that I have here for you today. Was there anything else that you'd like to leave off with, or?
I can't really think of anything.
All right. Well,
I hope that the pony fandom continues going for a while, and I hope they release new seasons. I'm looking forward to the convention this summer, which has the voice of Discord and Lauren Foss. It's probably me nuts.
yeah, I'm hoping it'll end up well too. Well, BCS, thank you very much for your time and for coming out and answering these questions here with us.
All right, you too. Have a good night.